We're back in Lynn Matava's kitchen, a nutrition educator with the University of Maryland Extension.
And this week, Lynn has a recipe for a green-inspired Quinoa salad. Let's check it out.
Today we're going to make a Mediterranean recipe that can help support care for diabetes. Diabetes is a disease that affects 38 million people in this country, which is 1 in 10 of us. And what's even more frightening is that 98 million people have pre-diabetes, and that's 8 in 10. And here on the shore, we're slightly higher than average, with 12.6% of the population being confirmed diabetics. So it's really important for all of us to be taking steps to think, eat, and move in balance. And so what we're going to make today is a delicious protein-rich veggie salad. So what we're going to do is we are going to put all of our ingredients in a bowl, toss with a dressing, and be ready to eat in no time. Easy peasy, right? So what we're going to start with is a cup of quinoa that's cooked to the package directions, and it takes about 15 minutes to cook. Quinoa is a food that actually comes to us from South America. And what I really love about quinoa is it is a complete protein, which means that it has all 9 essential nutrients that we cannot make in our body, and it's really going to help give us that boost of protein throughout the day, but it also happens to be a whole grain food. So it's got a good amount of fiber in it that's going to help our body digest and help keep us fuller longer. And then to that, we're going to add a bunch of other ingredients. So we've got a large cucumber here, and this is one of those English hothouse cucumbers that has less seeds, and I'm just kind of peeling it very minimally. You can peel it all the way. I want to leave some of that green on there. I want the color, I want the crisp, I want the bite, a little bit more fiber there. And then you can choose to seed these, but these tend to have way less seeds than typical cucumbers that you would get out of your garden. So if you were doing this with from your garden, you're going to want to just kind of cut all those seeds out and discard those. Again, I'm going to leave them in today because I think that they will be just fine. And now to that, we're going to add some parsley. I've already started chopping it. This is Italian flat leaf parsley. You could use either variety of the flat or curly. The recipe calls for a 1/4 cup. I've got more like 3/4 of a cup here, and honestly, you could put even more than that if you chose. We are going to add a 1/4 cup of red onion. Again, this has been washed already. I'm going to show you my little cheating trick for chopping onion. I'm going down about halfway because I only need half of this onion in each direction, and you can see I make those cross marks and then come and cut that. Look how easy that is. And again, it called for about a 1/4 cup. I probably have more than that now, so we're just going to, I'm going to eyeball it here. We've also got an entire container, a 10-ounce container of grape tomatoes rolling away from me today, and I'm just going to halve those and throw those in. You can see this is starting to come together, how bright and beautiful it is. We're going to also put in a 1/2 cup of feta. I'm going to set this aside though to add this at the very last minute while we make our dressing. And our dressing is simply a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to this. I'm using extra virgin, it's got more bite and flavor. We're going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And that kind of helps the oil and vinegar emulsify or stay together once blended. And it's also going to give just a little teeny bit of flavor. If you're not a huge mustard person, you probably won't even notice it. There is not much of it in here, and the other flavors, the acidity of the vinegar will kind of mask it. I'm going to do a little bit of crushed pepper, just black pepper, and a pinch of salt. We don't need a lot. And then toss this into our salad mix. All around, get all the flavors nice and blended together. And lastly, I'm going to throw in that cheese, and that's because I didn't want it all broken up into the salad. And that's it. You could give it a taste, add a little bit more of something if you needed it, take something away you really can't do, right? So that's why we add everything in small amounts. And then this is just a great salad. You can toss it on top of lettuce and have a lunch. It would be a great side dish. And I recommend that you try this one because it's really, really tasty. If you or someone you know has diabetes or is pre-diabetic, I recommend that you go see your healthcare providers, and that includes all those other important exams like your eye doctor, your dentist, your foot doctor, and make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Also, we do teach diabetes classes at the Wicomico County Extension Office. So if you're interested in finding out when the next one is, reach out to me there, and I would be glad to see you in a class. Thanks a lot, and see you next week.
As a reminder, we do have all of Nutrition Educator Lynn Matava's tips and tricks on our website. Just head to WMT.com and click on the Good Morning Delmarva tab.
And share your version of this delicious recipe by using the hashtag UMDYum.
Well, that looked very tasty. You know, I've only had quinoa as a topping on a salad, not as the base of the salad. So that might be a little interesting to try out.
Yeah, I've had it once or twice, I believe, you know, as a topping, and it's not bad when you have it on topping. I think, you know, when you're trying new stuff, it's easy to work its way into your diet rather than just to dive head first.
Definitely, and you can't even taste it sometimes when you just throw it on the salad. So
exactly.
Great way to be healthy, right?